everybody seems to be doing this now, and it's not necessarily getting annoying. I just don't really get super surprised by surprise album releases anymore, because I guess instead of just ramping up the anticipation, artists going, here's the album, go listen to it, will pique more people's interest because we haven't heard anything from it, so we're going to be interested right away to hear it, rather than having a single or two that we may or may not have liked actually dictate whether we want to listen to it or not. And here, well, shortly after, not even a year after Tyler the Creator dropped his album Chromakopia, he is back with Don't Tap the Glass. And this is his shortest album to date. It's 10 songs. It's 28 minutes. I really wasn't expecting it to be anything super long, considering how, like, short in between this took. And considering he's been touring too, he must have either already had this on the back burner or was working really hard during the tour, because it's unlike Tyler to drop an album in back-to-back years. He usually takes 2 to 3 years most of the time, so this was kind of unusual, hearing that he was returning already, and just returning with a full album of new material, not just like a single, as we didn't really find out he was dropping anything until yesterday. I mean, it was basically just like, hey, I'm dropping the album Monday, which, if most people remember, he dropped Chromakopia on a Monday, so Tyler the Creator doesn't like to do things conventional. Of the 10 tracks on the album, the one I found not really liking the most as my least favorite is I'll Take Care of You. It's got a good aesthetic to it, but really it was one of the weaker tracks. Then when we get to the okay songs, Ring 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 and Tell Me What It Is, which actually finishes off the album, come in, and again, they're good songs, but when we talk about the rest of the album as a whole, I just feel like they're not necessarily oddballs, but they're not as flashy as some of the other songs. Like, they just feel real simplistic, like I've heard it before from him, and I don't know, it wasn't super impressive. But then we have my favorites. I mean, Big Poe, which is another alter ego that Tyler the Creator is introducing, comes into play. It kicks off the album very nicely. Sugar on My Tongue, Sucka Free, Mom and Them, which I thought was going to be like Eminem popping in, but he's just basically saying my mom and them, but it's Mom and Them, because, you know, slang. Stop Playing With Me, and then Don't Tap the Glass / Tweakin', it's a 2-part song, is probably my favorite track on the album. They just both hit with some sort of different aggression, because that's one thing I'll say about this album over Chromakopia. It's way more aggressive. Like, Chromakopia had its aggressive moments with, like, Thought I Was Dead and stuff like that. This album delves more into that, although it does have its more softer sides, like the jazz-infused stuff that we're used to hearing from Tyler the Creator, more the R&B moments. He definitely is more, you know, angry and aggressive on this one. And then we have Don't Worry Baby, which is my last favorite track off of the album. That really just, it's one of the softer tracks that really does its job overall. Really, I mean, when you look at it, the album kind of falls off on the last 3 tracks. Again, it's not that they're bad, I just feel like the way it started and the way it ended, it could have been more to it, or maybe you just kind of, you know, layer the album a little bit differently. Like, I get why Tell Me What It Is was the last track on the album, because at the end, he basically says, thank you for writing, you didn't tap the glass, thank you. And at the beginning of the album with Big Poe, he was basically going like, oh, welcome, don't tap the glass. And you find out, you know, on the song Don't Tap the Glass, the reason you don't do that is because there's a monster inside and he's not putting up with your bullshit. So I understand why that's first and that's last, but there's some songs where I'd probably be like, I'd probably put this here and then this here. I don't know, it's just structured nice, but I feel like there's missing pieces to it. And again, for an album that's only 28 minutes and 10 tracks, you don't necessarily have a lot to go off of, but when most of it is piquing your interest and keeping you into it, you can say he did a good job. Is this a step down from Chromakopia? I mean, yeah, I would say. I mean, even when he did Call Me When You Get Lost and Call Me When You Get Lost, The Estate Sale, those at least felt like the same kind of album, and they both had kind of the same great production that made the albums great, and the same with Chromakopia. But with this one, I mean, this one was probably him just playing around and whatnot, and that's fine and all, but when it comes to his other albums, whether before or even after, although I will say this is probably better than some of his older albums at this point, this one is kind of just, yeah, you know, it's fine. Like, it's passable. I gave it a 7 out of 10, so it's not like I'm sitting here going, this is one of his worst projects ever. I just feel like we've heard better from him over the past couple of releases, that this was just kind of one where it's like, okay, I see why it's here, but at the same point in time, I was expecting just a tad bit more. Just a tad bit. There's still something missing. That's just my thoughts on the album. You can tell me in the comments below if you've heard it. What are your thoughts? And until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.